You're at a party, maybe a work event, maybe just a casual hangout with people you've known for years, and there's a guy there. You've seen his type before, but you've never quite been able to explain him. He's not the tallest man in the room, not the most built, probably not pulling the biggest salary. He's not telling the loudest jokes or demanding the most attention. He's not flexing, not performing, not running some kind of rehearsed routine he picked up from a YouTube comment section. And yet, women keep drifting toward him. Conversations with him run longer than they should. Smiles directed at him are warmer, more genuine, more real. And the men around him, decent-looking men, well-dressed men, men who have read every book and watched every video, are standing there, drinks in hand, genuinely confused. You've seen this before. Maybe you've been that confused man. Maybe you're tired of being him. That's not an accident. That man has something. Not a technique. Not a line. Something underneath all of that. Something most men were never taught to develop, because no one around them had it either. Here's what no one tells you. 99% of men never develop this one thing. And that's exactly why effortless, natural attraction becomes the private territory of the rare few who do. Not the loudest few, not the richest few, but the ones who quietly figured something out that the rest never stopped to examine. It's not your looks. Looks open a door, they don't keep anyone in the room. It's not your money. Wealth can create interest, but it cannot manufacture genuine pull. It's not even confidence. At least not the performed, inflated version that most men mistake for the real thing. That version, women can detect from across a room, and it repels far more than it attracts. What it actually is runs deeper than all of that. It lives in how you carry yourself when nothing is at stake. It lives in how you occupy a moment when no one is grading you. It's presence. Groundedness. The quiet, unshakable sense that you are already exactly where you belong, and you don't need the room to confirm that for you. Picture two men walking into the same event on the same evening. Man A walks in and immediately begins calibrating. He checks who's looking. He adjusts his posture the moment an attractive woman glances over. He laughs slightly too hard at something that wasn't quite that funny. He volunteers information about his job within the first 2 minutes of meeting someone new. Every single move he makes carries a hidden subtext. Please find me valuable. Please approve of me. Please let this go well. Man B walks in and simply arrives. He's unhurried. He greets people because he genuinely wants to, not because he's constructing an impression. When he speaks at his own pace. When he listens, he actually listens, not preparing his next line, not calculating how he's landing, not monitoring her facial expression for signs of approval. If a conversation ends naturally, he doesn't chase it. If it continues, he's fully inside it. One of these men is transmitting a signal that reads, "I need this interaction to validate me." The other is transmitting, "I was fine before this, and I'll be fine after." And without a single word about status, achievement, or intention, one of these men has already communicated everything. Women feel that difference before a sentence is spoken. It is not magic. It is emotional intelligence at the receiving end, and it is always, always accurate. Most men are terrified of silence. It feels like failure. Like the conversation is dying and it's their responsibility to revive it. So they fill it with jokes, observations, half-formed opinions, stories that weren't quite ready to be told, anything to keep the engine running. But that constant filling sends one unmistakable message: I am uncomfortable with myself when nothing is happening. The man who can sit inside a pause without flinching, who can let a moment breathe without rushing to rescue it, sends something completely different. He is comfortable in his own skin. He doesn't need noise to feel okay. He speaks when he has something worth saying, and stays quiet when he doesn't. That kind of stillness makes you the most grounded presence in any room you enter. And people, especially women, are drawn to that like a current they can't quite explain. We live in the most distracted era in human history. Everyone is half present. Eyes on you, mind on the phone, nodding along, already composing the reply. Most men, even when they're genuinely trying, are thinking about how they're coming across rather than actually being there. Real, undivided attention, given without agenda, without performance, without waiting for your turn to speak, is extraordinarily rare. And when someone receives it, truly receives it, they feel something they can't quite name. They feel seen. Ask one genuine question and actually follow it. Don't redirect the conversation back to yourself. Don't one-up. Don't already be 3 sentences ahead. Just be fully there. The feeling of being truly seen is one of the most powerful emotional experiences a person can have, and she will associate that feeling with you. And that association does not fade quickly. Watch most men in conversation with a woman they find genuinely attractive. Every joke has a check. Did she laugh? Every statement has a quick scan. Did she approve? The entire interaction becomes a series of emotional bids, each one waiting for a response before the next is issued. She feels every single one of those bids. And the cumulative effect is not attraction, it is pressure. The shift is this. Say what you mean, hold your position, and let her respond however she responds, without immediately adjusting yourself to match her reaction. Your words should not be up for renegotiation based on how they land. When your emotional state stops being dependent on her approval, something changes in the entire texture of the interaction. You become steady, consistent, and that consistency, that unshakable internal quality, becomes the most stabilizing and quietly attractive thing she encounters. There is nothing less attractive than a man whose entire world can be restructured around a woman he met 2 weeks ago. It communicates one devastating thing: I had nothing going on before you arrived. This is not about playing games. It is not a tactic. It is about genuinely investing in your own direction, your work, your craft, your friendships, your long-term goals. These are not things you pause for romantic pursuit. They are the substance of who you actually are. Protect your schedule. Have somewhere else to be sometimes. Hold opinions that were formed by real experience, not shaped by whoever you're trying to impress. When your life is genuinely full, not performed, not exaggerated, but actually full, you stop being someone who needs her attention. You become someone whose attention is worth having. And that is an entirely different energy. Most men fold at the first sign of friction. She pushes back on something, they retreat. She expresses a strong opinion, they immediately mirror it back. The reasoning, usually unconscious, is that agreement keeps the peace, and peace keeps her interested. But the result is the opposite. Constant agreement signals that your opinions are available to the highest bidder, that you will become whoever the situation requires you to be. Hold your perspective, calmly, respectfully, even warmly. You can disagree with a smile. You can stand your ground without turning it into a confrontation. A man who has arrived at his own point of view through actual thought and holds it without apology is a man worth engaging with. He becomes someone she has to genuinely reckon with, not just respond to. This is the hardest principle of all, and the most powerful. Genuine internal freedom from needing any particular interaction to go a specific way. Not performed indifference. Not fake aloofness designed to manufacture mystery. Actual, honest emotional detachment from the outcome. Because that investment, when it exceeds a certain threshold, leaks. It leaks through over-texting, through over-explaining, through laughing slightly too hard and agreeing slightly too fast, and staying slightly too long past the point where you should have gone. She doesn't consciously identify it, but she feels it, and it creates pressure exactly where there should be space. The man who could walk away cleanly and carry no bitterness doing so is the man she finds most difficult to forget. Not because he's cold, not because he doesn't care, but because his sense of self does not depend on her response. That is not coldness. That is the highest form of confidence a man can carry into any room. Every principle here requires something most men are unwilling to tolerate for long: sitting with uncertainty, not knowing if it's working, not getting immediate feedback, not having the reassurance that the effort is paying off. But the men who stay in that discomfort long enough, they stop being confused at parties. They become the man others are quietly trying to figure out. And that starts not with a technique, but with a decision. The decision to stop performing and start simply being. That's where everything changes.